Hello there everyone, welcome to this week's Gran Turismo 7 Daily Race C Race and Strategy Guide. We're in the Group 4 machinery and we are off to Lago Maggiore Centre, which is the very short variation of the Lago Maggiore tracks. We've got 20 laps to get round, tyres at times 1, fuel at times 1, just the racing hard tyres. There is a mandatory pit stop in there, BOP is on, low speed BOP for this one. Damage is light, it's a rolling start. Slipstream is real, and for your settings you have the brake balance and you have the suspension, but it's just the anti-roll bars, the compression and the expansion. There is no frequency or LSD settings for this week. Now this is exactly a repeat of a race we did about 5 months ago, and the way that race kind of descended into is it became very much dominated by four-wheel drive cars. The Alfa Romeo 155 in particular became very, very strong. I jumped out in the Ferrari, but I knew there was going to be a lot of Alfa Romeos and four-wheel drive cars in this one, as you can see from the grid. But there was a few other cars as well. Somebody was in the Porsche, we've got a SLS just in front of us, somebody was in the Supra as well, but the majority of the field, obviously remembering this race from last time when we did it, the four-wheel drive cars are going to dominate here. There is literally 2 braking zones and 2 acceleration zones in this track. Well, maybe 3 braking zones and 3 acceleration zones if you count kind of turn 3, I guess, as well. But yeah, it's all about getting on the power super early out the corners, and that's why the four-wheel drive cars absolutely dominate here. Now, I had quite strong opinions about this race last time we did it on stream, and we'll talk about them later on in the strategy options part of the video. But this race is now underway. Shelty in the Mitsubishi went a little bit deep into turn 1, hit Toby in the SLS and has picked up a 2-second penalty for his troubles. Quite an unusual penalty to get, deserved I would say, but unusual to get because the SLS and the German never actually went off the track. Now we went for the move up the inside there, we nearly got it completed, but we lost the rear end of the car. I had to kind of do a little bit of counter steer, and that allows Toby to go back underneath us. But in the run down to turn 1, we're going to try and get this move done again. Nice racing here with Toby. Probably not the best idea. This race is all about just cooperating, to be honest with you, with the drivers around you. It's a Group 4 race, so and it's a short lap, and the variation in lap time is going to be very small indeed. So the best thing to really do in this race is just to work with your competitors up until a certain point in the race, and then maybe start racing. Toby kind of puts the defence on there. I was a little bit unhappy when we had the room left out of turn 2, so we gave him a few flashes of the headlights. Probably not really merited, to be perfectly honest with you. We make the move down the inside into the last turn once again, this time keeping the back end of the car under control and getting that move completed, and Toby behind us actually peels off into the pits, and that's going to give us a little bit of breathing room for a number of laps. But up to lap 10 here, Shelty had been catching me quite quickly in that Mitsubishi Lancer. Come down into turn 1, I wasn't really wanting to go for the move here, so I tried to brake a little bit late, try and hold it round the outside, thinking probably lose less time that way, but we go too deep onto the grass, and Shelty is ahead of us, which is not going to be too much of a problem because we can actually use the slipstream of that Mitsubishi Lancer for a few laps before the gap just gets too big. Even in the slipstream, I was struggling to hold on to Shelty as he was just able to get on the power so much earlier in that four-wheel drive car compared to the Ferrari. And to be honest with you, you can actually get on the power pretty early in the Ferrari as well, but it just couldn't quite match the four-wheel drive cars. But coming into the pits here at the end of lap 19, obviously a mandatory pit stop to be made. We were in P4 at the time. A lot of the field up at this point had actually made their pit stop. Started in P13 in this one, so where we're going to come out. So not the longest pit stop in the world. Obviously you do not change tyres, obviously you don't need to take on fuel. Tyres only at times 1, it's racing hard tyres. You lose 17 seconds in the pits, and we're going to come out here in P10 just behind Metal Ape Racer and just ahead of Marky Boy, who was just behind us. He had actually pitted at the end of lap 18. We kind of dummied him into the pits, I think, a little bit. I kind of made off that I was going to pit on lap 18 and then peeled off at the last second, and Marky Boy went into the pits. So you can kind of try and, if you maybe get a little bit of pressure from a driver behind you, maybe try and dummy them into the pits. It's a tactic that you can try and pull off here. But yeah, that was pretty much it. 7.5 seconds off the lead, down in P10. The Group 4 race, you can see just about the whole grid is on the main straight here as we come to the end of the 20 lap race. But P10 in a non 4-wheel drive car in this race was not too bad. You can see the Alfa Romeo 155 dominating there, a Supra in P5 and a couple of Lancer Evolutions. So it's going to go pretty much the same way as the last time. It's going to be the four-wheel drive cars that are going to dominate here. And I had very, well, reasonably strong opinions because essentially the four-wheel drive cars are, in my opinion, you pick a low-skill car for this one. And I'm not saying it in a kind of bad way. You pick a low-skill car because it's the best cars around here. You can get on the throttle so early. It's ridiculous how early you can get on the throttle coming out of like turn 2 on the run into turn 3. You can just get on the power so early out of that sharp corner and on the last corner as well. And that is where the lap time over something that maybe has a slightly more twitchy back end, like the NSX that we're looking at, the Ferrari I was in. Obviously they have very good rear grip as well. But yeah, pick a low skill car, pit any lap you want. It's going to be a very close race anyway. Don't change the tyres, try not to battle, you will just lose time. And to be honest with you, you're probably going to get bored after 3 races and probably move on to something else. So overall, a rather poor and boring race, badly set up. Now, it's not the best kart and track combination. It wouldn't have been too difficult to make this more exciting though. 24 laps, take up to around about 20 minutes, medium tyres, time rate times 5, maybe make the fuel times 3, make the pit stop mean something, give it some strategy. Bob's your uncle, you've got a far superior race to what we've got here. But yeah, what more can I say? These things shouldn't really be happening. We shouldn't be getting races this poor at this time in the game's life, but it is what it is. We'll certainly stream it at some point, so look out for that. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Goodbye now.